Something about time does not feel the same anymore, even if everything around you still looks completely normal. Days seem to pass faster, moments disappear quicker, and it feels harder to truly hold on to them. But have you noticed when that started to happen? Or did it just slowly become this way? Right now, you wake up, go through your day, and before you realize it, it is already over. And even when you try to slow down and be more present, everything around you keeps moving at the same pace. It feels like time is accelerating, even though nothing has physically changed in the world. But is time really moving faster? Or is something else changing in the way you experience it? Because once you start to notice it, it becomes something you cannot easily ignore anymore. There was a time when everything felt slower, more present, and easier to experience in the moment without rushing. Days did not feel compressed, and time seemed to stretch naturally without you needing to think about it. You could focus on simple things, small moments that felt more meaningful and easier to remember over time. And instead of constantly moving from one thing to another, there was space to pause, reflect, and just exist. But have you noticed how rare that feeling has become now compared to before? Back then, time did not feel like something you were chasing or trying to keep up with every day. It felt like something you were actually living through, fully aware of each moment as it happened. And that difference is much bigger than it seems when you stop and really think about it. But now, everything feels like it is moving faster, even when nothing around you has physically changed. Days seem shorter, moments pass quicker, and it becomes harder to remember what you even did. You move from one thing to another without stopping, constantly shifting your attention. And before you realize it, the day is already gone, almost as if it never really happened. But have you noticed how little time you actually spend being fully present in what you are doing? Everything feels compressed, like there is never enough time, no matter how much you try to slow down. And the faster everything feels, the less you seem to experience each moment. Because it is not just that time feels faster, it is that you are moving through it differently. And the most interesting part is that this change did not happen suddenly or in a way that felt obvious at the time. It happened slowly, through small shifts that became part of your daily routine without you even realizing it. At first, nothing felt different. Everything seemed normal, familiar, and easy to follow every single day. And because of that, you never stopped to question what was actually changing underneath the surface. But have you noticed how automatic your days have started to feel over time? You move through tasks, moments, and experiences without fully thinking about them anymore. And before you realize it, those days start blending together without clear distinction between them. Because the biggest changes are often the ones that happen quietly, until they become your normal without you noticing. At some point, your days stop feeling unique and start feeling almost identical to each other over time. You wake up, go through your routine, and repeat the same patterns without really thinking about them anymore. And even when small things change during the day, the overall feeling stays exactly the same. But have you noticed how difficult it is to remember specific moments from recent days when you try to think back? Everything blends together, like one continuous sequence instead of separate and meaningful experiences.
Some days feel exactly the same, and I don't even remember what I did yesterday.
And the more this happens, the faster time seems to pass without leaving a clear impression behind. Because when every day feels the same, it becomes harder to truly feel time passing at all. So what is actually happening behind all of this? And why does time feel so different now compared to before? Your mind is constantly processing more than it used to, moving from one thing to another without ever fully stopping. You are exposed to more actions, more decisions, and more changes within the same amount of time every day. And because of that, your attention is always shifting instead of staying focused in one place for long. But have you noticed how rarely you are fully present in a single moment from beginning to end? Even when you slow down physically, your mind keeps moving at the same fast pace in the background. And the more your attention is divided, the less each moment feels complete, clear, or meaningful. Because it is not just time that feels faster, it is your experience of it that has completely changed. And the most important thing to understand is that this is not just something happening to you alone in your own routine. It is happening across different people, different lifestyles, and completely different ways of living every day. No matter where you look, the same pattern starts to appear again and again without much variation. People are always moving, always doing something, but rarely stopping completely to be present. But have you noticed how similar everyone's days begin to feel over time, even when their lives are different? Even in different environments, the way people experience time is becoming more alike than ever before.
Everyone seems busy all the time, but it feels like no one really has time for anything.
Because this is not just a personal feeling, it is something happening on a much larger scale everywhere. And this is where everything starts moving in a direction that feels even more intense over time. The pace of life does not slow down, it continues to accelerate in subtle ways. Days begin to feel shorter, and moments become easier to overlook as everything speeds up. And the more this happens, the less time you feel like you actually have. But have you considered what happens when this becomes your normal way of living? The experience of time becomes more fragmented, less connected, and harder to fully process. And the faster everything feels, the more difficult it becomes to hold on to meaningful moments. Because the future is not just about time moving faster, it is about how little of it you truly experience. And at some point, you begin to notice something that feels difficult to explain at first when you really stop to think. Time did not just pass. It feels like it disappeared without leaving a clear trace behind. You try to remember specific moments, but they seem distant, blurred, or incomplete in your memory. And even though you were there, it feels like you were not fully present while it was happening. But have you ever stopped and asked yourself what you actually remember from your recent days? Not the tasks, not the routine, but the real moments that truly mattered to you.
Sometimes I stop and think, where did all that time go?
Because when you start to ask that question, the answer is not always easy to face.
I always thought I didn't have enough time, but maybe I just wasn't paying attention to it.
At the beginning, this might have felt like a problem you could not fully explain or understand. Like something was missing, even though everything around you seemed completely normal on the surface. But the truth is, time never actually changed at all in the way you might think. What changed was the way you moved through it, the way you experienced each moment every single day. And over time, that difference became something so normal that you stopped noticing it completely. But once you see it clearly, it becomes something you cannot easily ignore again. Because maybe it was never about having less time, but about how you were choosing to live it.